Good evening, Providence, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the OMISH. Politics is in the air at Providence this season, and we're preparing for the executive elections for Student Council presidency for the 2012-2013 academic year. The candidates, Matt Dean, who has been Student Council president for the 2011-2012 school year, and Jordan Siemens, who is our vice president of student life for this past year. Both are running for the seat of Student Council President, but only one can win. So tonight, we're here to get their angle on their campaign. So, we'll start off with some opening statements. I think we'd like to hear from Mr. Siemens first.
Thank you, James. I have a vision for change. The school has been accused of stagnating by some, but I believe it is time for a renaissance. Student Council has done great things in the past, but it can be greater in the future. I have a vision where all disciplines, from business to sociology, from aviation to BTS, from humanities to communications and media, from music to mathematics, from youth leadership to theater, from church ministries to philosophy, and from TESOL to social sciences, can join together to bring this school to new heights. We are in an exciting time of transition, and I believe that with experienced leadership and a new vision, Student Council can lead the way into Providence's new stage of life. I've already released my platform, with only a few of the plans and ideas I have for next year. I invite you to ask yourself if some of these things would make your life better, especially having farmer sausage in the cafeteria, something near and dear to my heart. I have experience in leadership, having served on my high school student council as the president of the Youth and Philanthropy Club, as leading member on Amnesty International or the Social Concerns Club, and as a Sunday school teacher. At Providence, I was able to serve as freshman rep last year, and as the chair of the interclass committee this year. At my church, I am privileged to serve as both the music team leader and as the worship leader on a regular basis. In my hometown, I served as a youth representative on the Altona Town Council, as well as being on the board of the Altona Community Foundation. As vice president of student life this year, I led the organizing for the Christmas Banquet and the Films Festival, both which were great successes. Additionally, I spearheaded the campaign to repair the hot tub, and after 4 months of negotiations, was successful, so that by next fall, Bergen will have a working hot tub again. On March 21st and 22nd, I invite you to vote. Vote for experienced leadership. Vote for vision. Vote Jordan Siemens for president. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Siemens. Truly inspiring words. You're obviously quite high on yourself. But that's exactly the kind of candidacy we want to see you for a potential Student Council president. Our motto here at the OMISH is unbiased and unobjective as we seek to bring you the next Student Council president. So with that in mind, we'll move over to Matt Dean.
Thank you, James. As you know...
That's enough, Matt Dean. We'll go back to Jordan now.
Whoa. Let's let the man have a chance. He has served for a year. Let's let him tell us what he's done.
Alright, we'll play it your way.
Thank you, both of you.
Nah.
Student Council this year, as you know, has taken leaps and strides ahead for new visions, new objectives, new goals that we've been seeking to obtain. As you know, Jordan has served very well as our VP of Student Life. We've had great projects, such as a hot tub. We've had a new mascot coming next year that has been spearheaded by myself and the admissions department. We'll see how that unfolds. Big Blue is his name, if you don't know. The teamwork of Student Council has really gelled this year. That has not been seen for a number of years, and I think I have something to do with that, with just the persona and the attitude that I bring to Student Council. We are striving to have a council that is, what's the word? Just clicks together, so that we're all in unity, we're all on the same page in every decision that we make. So my accomplishments in the past, I've first came to Providence in 2007, where I was in Moody, actually, back when Moody was still Moody. And since then I've gone on YWAM. I've had great mission experience there, and upon returning to that, I worked as an educational assistant in my high school. I've had leadership experience there, as well as in youth groups. and of course on worship teams and in the church as well. Last year I came to Providence not really knowing where I stood as a student and as a leader. I was kind of taking a break from leadership. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, leadership duties caught up to me, and I was asked to step in as president this year. I did not apply as president, I was asked, which I think is rather special and does me a great honor. And I thank the Student Life Department for giving me this opportunity. Yes, I thank you for your time, thank you for listening. Those are some of my views and my accomplishments as a student leader and as a leader abroad. Vote Mean Dean, 2012, 2013.
Truly, also inspiring words from the heart. From the heart. That's exactly the kind of candidate we want to re-elect for the student council body president. So yes. Yes, indeed. So, now we'll go over to a Q&A period. Remember, fair play. Fair play. So, gentlemen, Mr. Siemens, in what ways has the Dean presidency failed this student body over the past year?
Well, I suppose the presidency is really a reflection of the committee that the president is the head of. And Mr. Dean is the head of the student council. And I think we've had a great committee this year with Ryan, Danielle, and Heidi, James, Christy, Caleb, James, Thiessen, and Steph as well, all playing great roles in all the things they've done this year. So I think in that sense, his presidency has been very successful. But I think there's some other things that the president is kind of responsible for, some of them being the organization of student council, the meetings that he runs, spiritual direction for the college, and I think there have been a few weaker areas in Mr. Dean's leadership.
Aha, so you find him weak.
In some ways, yeah. Spiritually, I guess, there was that meeting where he said, what was it? Let's get away from the Bible, I think. Yes. I was a little skeptical about his comment there. I don't know if I would have said that myself. There's also the matter of organization, a lack of agendas at meetings, a lack of help. Probably that's the difference between someone with business experience as myself and someone in the humanities, a very noble field of study, but maybe not quite as cut out for leadership. We'll see, I guess. But otherwise, it's been a pretty good year. A few hiccups, but I wouldn't call it a total disaster. But definitely room for improvement.
Interesting. So, student council needs to be completely revamped.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes.
I hear you. Now, Mr. Siemens speaks highly of organization. He helmed the Christmas banquet this past year. So now I turn to you, Mr. Dean. You attended the Christmas banquet. Would you call it a complete disaster or a total disaster?
Oh, definitely a total disaster. Words cannot express how deeply disappointed I was, especially in the communication between Mr. Siemens' committee and student council. A lot of the time we were left in the dark. There was a few little surprises and hiccups that we weren't expecting. And we wish that we would have known so that we could have either praised him for it and patted him on the back, or maybe said, nah, that's not really a good idea. For example, the Turkish Delight. Now, I do like Turkish Delight. I really do. But unfortunately, how much money did you spend on the Turkish Delight, Mr. Siemens?
I think it was about 25 cents per guest.
25 cents. So how much did that add up to?
I think it was just under $99,
$99?
For 400 people.
How much was your budget for
the event? It was around $800.
$800, okay.
Now, how many third world families could that feed for a day? That's all I'm going to throw that out there.
The whole Narnia theme was a little bit off for me. I think it kind of describes the character of Jordan. Fantastical and he's kind of not really down to earth. His head is in the clouds, he's dreaming big things, but is it really real?
That makes perfect sense. That's interesting. Do we have a rebuttal?
Well, I'd like to address some of the issues Mr. Dean has raised. One would be the secrecy. I believe there he was referring to what I consider one of the highlights of the banquet, the secret and sudden appearance of our departing president, Dr. Gus Conkle, as Father Christmas. that was something we wanted to keep kind of close so it could have its full momentum and effect at the banquet. I understand he would have liked to know about that, but that's kind of the nature of secrets. They have to be limited.
Can we handle a micromanaging president? I don't know.
Good
Can
question.
you? And this is all very interesting. Mr. Siemens claims, I believe from the bottom of his heart, to be devoted to the student body. And yet, I turn to Mr. Dean now. What can we say about a student body president who, in the heat of his campaign, takes off to the Hawaiian Islands for a week?
Yes, that is an interesting point that you raise. Jordan, unfortunately during reading week, decided to depart from the campus. He up and left and went to Hawaii. Yeah, he went across the ocean, got a nice tan by the looks of it. Maybe he got a little bit of rest, while the people here at Prov were busy slaving away, doing homework or taking intercession classes or whatever they were doing. But I don't know if a president who just up and leaves, especially in a very busy time such as the middle of semester, exams had just happened, some were delayed and moved over to the following week, but one of our key leadership students was missing. Why? I don't know. I don't know how can you afford to do that? Especially also the campaign, he wasn't around.
And it's a perfectly valid point. But I'm afraid I must inquire as to Mr. Siemens' rebuttal. I'm assuming you're going to talk about how can we trust a president who doesn't even live on campus.
Well, there is that as well. Mr. Dean, however, after spending 1 year here in residence, decided to depart to the ivory towers of Prov House. I'm not sure how you feel as dorm students, those of you out there, about that. Someone who, as soon as he has a chance, leaves. I also have the opportunity to depart to Prov House, but I've rather decided to stay here for another year in dorm, to remain close to the student heart, to the heart of campus, the activities, and you.
And that's another very valid point, and I'm afraid I must turn back to Matt Dean. Mr. Dean, I do so apologize. Mr. Siemens is on your case about not living on campus, yet he lives in campus and never ventures out of his room.
That's an interesting point you raised there, James. We need student leaders who are present in the community. We don't really see Jordan's face, except if he's going to class or if he's going to the SLC for breakfast or lunch, maybe even supper. Does he eat? He's kind of a machine, I'd say. He's a homework computer. We need students who are in the community. We need people who are integrated and putting time into the community, not just working on their own studies. We need people who are willing to make relationships and willing to step outside their box and integrate into the community.
And Mr. Siemens has certainly shown that he can integrate into the community. He helms all three of the freshman, sophomore, and senior reps and their respective committees. Yet I couldn't help but notice all three of those reps are women. Sexist?
I also noticed that they are a rather core part of his friend group. Yeah.
Truly a philandering individual?
Ooh.
Or...
That might be pushing it there a bit, James.
Well, yeah.
I would say...
I can't really take sides in this debate, so...
No, that's good. We like fair and objective.
Yes.
I would say that my committee is made up of 3 female members as well as myself. I think that is partly due to the nature of this community. There is slightly more interest perhaps in the female side of things, which is very, very good to see. Not that there's more interest, but that there is interest. Last year when I was freshman rep, it was also a committee with 3 men and 1 male. 3 women and 1 male on it. I don't know if it's the committee, the activities that we do, but there wasn't a lot I could do about that. We did have open nominations as long as possible. We tried to tap some shoulders, but at the end of the day, we came up with 3 very qualified candidates, and I thank them for their service.
And in the end, he was unable to get a single man interested in the position. So, is that the man we really want in charge of student council? One who can't even inspire his own gender? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Siemens, Mr. Dean, who will you vote for? The voting commences Wednesday. Be there at the chapel at 2 p.m. and stay till afterwards for the first round of student council elections. Only one can be the president. Thank you for tuning out, and I wish the both of you the best of luck. You've both been truly respectable candidates.
Thank you, James.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. The Amish this week is brought to you by the AK-47, sponsoring peace since 1991. Oh, you kids.